Inshallah and Ashe. Fantastic Friday. We're a little slow today, but I'm a reflector, so it's all about the mirrored timeline. But today, fire meets fire with the Aries sun, and the moon is in Leo. I'm trying to get this to navigate here. Sometimes I have what I call an energetic hiccup, and we are experiencing that. There we go. Let me just turn that off. I kind of like to see two things going on at the same time. And of course, my eye wants to water. I think this is like the latest I've ever gone live. So this is like the Aries sun, Leo moon. That's who you are is ready to be seen. And with that, welcome to today's fantastic Friday. I am the Tanya D, your holistic Shaw medium, lunar guide, a human mirror, here to reflect the cosmic currents moving through you and also around you. And as we're moving deep into Aries season, the spark of creation, the I am frequency, and of course I'm having an eye issue, allergies. The I am frequency, where identity is being rewritten in real time. And today, the moon being in Leo, fire meets fire. This is bold energy, expressive energy, creative, heart-led, seen, and even witnessed energy. So Aries is asking, who am I becoming? And Leo says, show me, embody it. Let the world see it. All the world's a stage. So this is not the time to shrink. This is the time to step forward as the version of you that already exists in your highest timeline. So today we're going to explore the elemental energies moving through this fire activation. We're going to dive into the 4 pillars, of course. And at the end of the show, we're going to open up the stage and the space to do mini cowrie shell divinations for those who feel called. So go ahead and take a breath. Arrive in your body and let the ignition field or the fire field, let's ignite that together. And if your natal moon is in Leo, this is your heart activation point. So with the moon moving through Leo during Aries season, we're in a powerful fire trine for a variety of reasons. But this is where identity and emotional expression are actually working together. Depending on the phase of the moon, this energy is either building or revealing. But for Leo moons, this is all about being seen in your truth without shrinking, your light. Your emotions are guiding you back to your creative essence, your power, your confidence, and your authentic self-expression. And if you really want to dive deeper into your personal moon medicine for this season, tune into my moon forecast, of course, on YouTube, where I break it down for each natal moon sign. But if your natal moon when you were born is in the waxing or building energetic phase, this phase is for building your confidence, asking you to step forward before you fully feel, say that 5 times, feel fully ready. If full or illuminating, that would be in Aquarius season. This phase is illuminating, where you're meant to be seen and where you may still be dimming your light. If you're born in the wanting phase or the wanting phase through the season and the cycles of the year, this is about releasing and integration. So this phase is helping you release old validation patterns so your expression comes from within, not from the outer world. It's an inner to outside world. So Leo moon natives, this is your spotlight. It's the moment your heart ignites, is what I want to say. And it's a trine. Your heart is leading your identity shift. So the phase of the moon is showing you how to express it. And if you want your personal moon medicine, again, head on over to YouTube. This is all about the body remembering its fire. So when your natal moon is in Leo during Aries season, the body does not whisper, it literally awakens. So there's a warmth that begins to rise in your chest, not anxiety, it's not pressure, but it's more of a pulse. Like your heart is trying to speak before your mind can actually translate it. So you may feel it as a tightness in your sternum, your chest, even the backside. Yeah, your backside centers. Or a flutter that says, there's more of me that wants to be seen. Aries is activating the identity, but Leo feels it through the heart space. So that's kind of what's happening for you. I like to say things happen for us, not to us. And then we got to know why this is happening and what it is serving. So it's always like on that platter. But this can feel like an internal tension between who you've been comfortable being and who your body is ready to express, or how your body wants to express. So you might notice that you have a desire to actually speak more boldly, show up more visibly, create, perform, or express something you've been holding back. And at the same time, there's this subtle vulnerability that may surface. So a question in your body, like you want to ask, is it safe for me to be fully seen? I would put my left hand on my heart, maybe across my left toe. But this is the initiation, because Leo moons, you don't just want the attention, it wants authentic recognition. And Aries brings the fire to act, but Leo is asking you to act from the truth of your heart, your authenticity, not from performance or approval. In the body, this can feel like heat rising through the chest, your face, a magnetic pull forward, a creative restlessness in the solar plexus, or even emotional waves when you don't express what's true. The medicine here is not to push louder, but to open wider, open up that heart space, to let your expression come from embodiment, not validation, like embodying spirit fully. Because when Aries season meets the Leo moon, you're not becoming someone new. You're remembering the version of you that was never meant to hide. So Leo moon in Aries season feels like fire in the chest. Your heart wants to be seen, not for approval, but more for truth. The question is, will you let yourself be witnessed? And the Leo natal moons during Aries season, this is for you if you want to dive into your natal moon sign. Jump on over to YouTube. Again, for my new moon, I should say, for my moon forecast and moon medicine. She's a little long. I changed it up this year, but it is what it is. As the sun enters Aries, the zodiac begins anew. Fire returns to the sky, awakening courage, instinct, and the will to begin. Aries season is the spark of life itself, the moment where ideas turn into action and identity starts to take shape. This season reminds us that movement creates momentum, courage creates clarity, and sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is simply start. So let's explore how this Aries fire season moves through your natal moon sign and what medicine it brings to your emotional world. Aries season moon medicine. If your natal moon is in Leo, the fire trine awakens the heart, and Aries season feels electric or eclectic for Leo moons. And if your natal moon is in Leo, your emotions, or your emotional body, I should say, thrives on warmth, creativity, and authentic self-expression. You feel most alive when your heart is open and your spirit is engaged. So when Aries season arrives, the fire signs begin speaking to each other. Aries ignites and Leo radiates. Together, they create a fire trine, an energetic current that fuels confidence, courage, and creative momentum. This season doesn't just warm your heart, it activates it. And during Aries season, Leo moons may feel emotionally energized, creatively inspired, confident about expressing themselves, motivated to lead or initiate something new, drawn toward passion projects, and even more courageous about being visible, being seen. You may notice your emotional energy rising like a flame. This is your element responding to the cosmic weather. Fire recognizes fire. And then midway through the season, the Libra Full Moon brings awareness to communicating and relationships. For Leo moons, this may illuminate how your voice impacts others, creative collaborations, conversations that literally require honesty and diplomacy. balancing self-expression with listening. This full moon reminds you that even the brightest flame shines best when the environment around it is harmonious. And then on April 17th, as Aries season kind of comes to a close, the new moon at 27 degrees Aries opens a powerful gateway for Leo moons. This lunation may activate bold creative visions, travel, expansion, teaching, or sharing your wisdom, insight, stepping into a new adventure. This is a moment where your heart may feel called to leap forward into something inspiring in Spirit Nation. Aries lights the spark. Leo carries the flame. And your medicine for Aries season is heart-centered courage. That means create without waiting for approval. Lead with generosity and authenticity. Trust your creative instincts, express passion without ego attachment, and allow joy to guide your actions. Leo reminds Aries that fire is not only for initiation, it is also for illumination. And of course, a moon mantra, my heart shines with fearless authenticity. So if your spirit feels brighter and your heart feels ready to create, Aries season is simply reminding your moon that your light is meant to be shared. The fire has been lit. Now let it shine. Aries season reminds us that every beginning starts with courage. Over these weeks, the fire has asked us to move forward, trust our instincts, and step into a more authentic version of ourselves. The spark has been lit. What you initiated during this season now begins to take form as we move into the next chapter of the zodiac. What? We are back and I'm sideways. Scoot my little stuff over here. But as we continue, the four pillars, the elements from the new moon in Pisces, actually. This is your invitation to go to YouTube or Tanya D on Facebook and watch last week's live show, or the last 2 weeks. The 2 moons of spring 2026. So we've got these lunar phases and the Western and the BaZi, the elementals, the 4 pillars. The new moon in Pisces was a Xin Metal Rabbit. And this one here is the full moon Libra, April 1st, which is metal, a justice archetype, Libra. And a new moon begins a cycle. A full moon reveals what the cycle has produced. So the timeline becomes a realization moving into revelation. And we've got this rabbit in Libra, the harmony archetype. So rabbit in the Chinese metaphysics, this actually represents diplomacy, beauty, social harmony, relationship sensitivity. And this day master carries the Yin Wood, that same frequency. And Libra in Western astrology represents what? Balance, justice, relationships, fairness. It's inner peace, right? The peace director. So they are remarkably similar archetypes. They both govern the art of maintaining harmony, beauty between people. So the new moon began in this rabbit-like energy, the desire for peace and understanding. And now we're moving towards the Libra new moon or Libra full moon. But still, then we had this rooster and Aries, this truthing archetype. And the rooster represents exposure, honesty, discernment, public truth. And then this Aries opposing Libra, that frequency is courage, independence, confrontation only when necessary. So the Libra full moon always happens, of course, when the sun is in Aries. So the full moon axis then becomes Libra, harmony, and it's kind of it's like, oh, it's a game where the swings back and forth. So there's this pendulum. Aries is like the truth and the action, which then echoes the rabbit, which is the harmony, to the rooster, which is truth and exposure. So there is that frequency. So the energetic mirror, if we're kind of looking at the symmetry between these elementals, between the Chinese and the Western and this axis, the rabbit in Libra, rooster, and Aries. Both of these systems are describing the same philosophical tension, the tug and the pull, peace versus truth, or even diplomacy versus authenticity. So these two moons are actually working together. We first had the Pisces new moon on the 18th of March. Those were themes of dissolving illusions, emotional clarity, subtle realizations. And in the BaZi, the elementals, the Chinese four pillars, Xin Metal quietly cutting through illusion. So many realizations happened, but they were happening internally. So then we have this Libra full moon happening next week on April Fool's Day, but I ain't no fool, right? And full moons illuminate. These are themes of relationship truths, decisions about fairness, equal opportunities, visible turning points. So this is when the insight often becomes visible externally. So there's these conversations that are about to happen, or decisions are crystallizing. So this is called a mirror gate, this pattern of a mirror cycle, mirroring. Why? Because the new moon reveals something privately and the full moon reflects it publicly. So it's like seeing the truth in a mirror after you sensed it internally. Those sensors, right? Our own intuitive gifts and purpose. So the four pillars, or the BaZi, this timeline fits perfectly. And remember the sequence, hopefully, that I discussed a few weeks ago, if you've tuned in. There's this timing and there's these phases, and they all have meanings. But being that we're in the rabbit season, the month, the rabbit season, early March, early April, this is about realization. And then the dragon, which will happen like in, I'll say 15 days, maybe a little sooner. The dragon transition, early April, that's integration. And then the rooster resonance later in the autumn in exposure. So literally marking the dates of the elemental calendar as well. But the Libra full moon sits right between realization and integration, making it a reflection point. So there's a symbolic story of the last 2 weeks. Maybe you've noticed, maybe you haven't. If we translate this whole sequence into a narrative, the Pisces new moon, that's where you feel something is true. We had metal and clarity on the 17th and 18th. That would be the day master. And that's where we recognize the truth. And then we have the Libra full moon. This is where we see the truth reflected externally. So that's why these two lunar phases often correspond with relationship decisions or clarity moments. So the cycle feels so energetically balanced, and the archetypes involved are all about ethical alignment. The rabbit and Libra, that moves into compassion, fairness. The rooster and Aries is about honesty and courage. So the deeper lesson becomes true harmony requires truth. Without honesty, harmony becomes illusion. It's this beautiful symmetry. So when you step back, hopefully, maybe, and you look up into the sky, recognizing that the sky is telling a very poetic story. Pisces dissolves illusions. Metal revealed the truth. Now Libra is going to reflect those truths in relationships, where Aries is asking us to act upon it. So it's this full cycle of awareness and alignment. And another detail about this spring window happening for us, because the Pisces new moon occurred on a Xin Metal day. I guess I should have pulled up that chart, but the entire lunar cycle until the Libra full moon carries a subtle metal signature in the subtle frequencies and the subconscious and the BaZi timing. So some practitioners believe that when this happens, the lunar cycle becomes particularly good or great or grander for making clean decisions and resetting life direction. So if your heart feels called for a personal session, this really is your invitation. And that was kind of a spoonful, right? Spoonful of sugar. But welcome everybody tuning in right now. I'm so grateful that you're here. Today we're actually continuing the conversation that really actually began a couple weeks ago. Something really powerful. The Pisces new moon from a couple weeks ago on the 18th of March. and the full moon in Libra happening next week. So what's fascinating is these two moments are actually part of an energetic story. And what's beautiful is how clearly these two these moon moments mirror each other. So this isn't just astrology, this is a full energetic arc. And before we dive in, go ahead and drop a moon emoji in the chat, in the comments, if you've been feeling a shift over the past few weeks. If you have, go ahead and just comment there, or drop the moon, I should say. So I kind of want to revisit the new moon in Pisces, the beginning. I want to start with that, going back to the new moon. The Pisces new moon carried this very specific BaZi signature, which was a Xin Metal Rabbit. There we are. The Xin Metal Rabbit. So in the BaZi, Xin metal is often described as refined metal, a blade, clarity, discernment, truth. And rabbit energy is harmony, relationships, emotional awareness, ideals. So what we had was truth meeting harmony, or more simply, just clarity cutting through illusion. It was like the clear cutting blade. But here's the key. This wasn't loud. This kind of energy comes in quietly. It doesn't come in as chaos. It comes in as a quiet moment of realization, like, oh, I see now. And for many people, something became clear during that new moon. A relationship dynamic, a truth about yourself or others, a direction that no longer felt aligned. That was the seed moment. So did anyone have a moment recently where something just clicked? Like you suddenly saw something clearly? Waiting for a few comments here. So the truth cycle here, this is the layer. So from the elemental perspective, that new moon initiated and started what we could call a truth cycle, a truth initiator. Not chaos, not disruption, but recognition. You felt it, you knew it, maybe you didn't act upon it yet, because we had this double rabbit wood, which is ideas. It's also very eclectic, agent of change, transformation. But we also have that strong Xin metal, which is truth and refinement. So fire in the year brought us pressure and activation. So the energy was essentially illusion dissolving, moving into truth emerging. But at this new moon, it was still internal. That's where you felt it, you knew it, and maybe you hadn't acted on it yet. So type yes in the chat if something became clear for you, but you haven't fully acted upon it yet. That's the key. So then we want to speak or invoke the Libra full moon. Let's swap charts here. This is the Libra full moon chart, which is the mirror. That's when we arrive on April 1st, the Fool's Day. But the full moons do something very specific. I don't really want to focus on the Fool, but this is where things get really interesting. They bring things to light, so what was internal now becomes visible. So have you noticed anything coming to the surface this week, especially in relationships? Because Libra in Western astrology represents balance, relationships, fairness, diplomacy, truth, and connection, which mirrors the rabbit energy almost perfect, like symbiotic. But a full moon does something different than a new moon. It illuminates, it reveals, it brings things into the open or up to the surface. So what was internal now becomes visible. So this full moon, as we're coming to it, now here's where it gets really powerful. I want to look at the energy, the elementals for the full moon in Libra. That's what this chart is. We have a Yin Wood Snake day, a Yin Metal Rabbit month, a Yang Fire Horse year, which we're going through the shift all together, and a yang fire dog hour. So the horse energy is the year energies all together. I want to say the horse energy in the year and the dog energy of the hour. Here's the key. The horse and the dog create that fire trinity activation that I talked about last week. That's going to happen all year long, whether it's the horse, the dog, or the tiger. That's the fire trine in Chinese elemental astrology, is what I want to say. The elementals. One's the birth of fire, one is the peak of fire, and one is hosting or housing fire. It's in storage. So now we have fire amplifying everything, plus activating that fire trinity. Fire represents visibility, expression, action, charisma. So now we move from the truth of Xin Metal into expression. So what that means energetically or elementally, at the new moon, metal revealed truth, and at the full moon, wood responds to that truth and fire expresses it. So then the sequence now becomes, because it's always elementally, right? So this is about realization moving into integration, which then moves into expression, which is fire. So this is no longer just about realizing something. This is about speaking it, choosing differently, setting boundaries, energetic or otherwise, and making a decision. So what feels like it can't be ignored anymore in your life right now? That's the question we want to ask ourselves, because it's going to be coming to the surface and possibly smacking us upside. Just saying. There's just an idea. So we'll just wait and see there. So you want to ask yourself, this full moon's going to activate something. This isn't a quiet full moon because fire is involved. So this is speaking the truth. It's making those decisions and taking actions, setting boundaries. We always need boundaries, but also choosing alignment. So the question shifts from what am I seeing to what am I going to do about what I know now? So we've got this axis where both of these systems between Western and Chinese astrology, they're really asking the same thing. Libra's asking what is fair, what is balanced, but the rabbit is asking what is harmonious and what feels right. But the rooster, the opposing animal or the element of the rabbit, is still in the background energetically. And rooster represents truth, exposure, honesty. It's the cutting of the blade. It's a blade, literally. It's a blade. So this full moon sits right on the axis of peace versus truth. And often what we realize is real harmony requires honesty. Same with authenticity. Does that make sense? So Libra and this rabbit energy really wants the harmony, but truth is still present. So the real question then becomes, is this peaceful or is this just familiar? Get familiar with the unfamiliar, right? So does that resonate? Have you ever stayed in something because it felt peaceful, but deep down you knew it wasn't really true or didn't fully feel authentic? There's a slight pause there, right? So energetically, if we were to look at the full arc of these elementals, the Pisces new moon is the quiet realization. There's this integration period, and then we move into emotional understanding. So the Libra full moon moves into the visible truth plus the action. So this is a complete cycle of seeing and understanding and moving into choosing. So you really want to ask yourself, or ask again, where are you in that process right now? Seeing, knowing, and choosing. So I want to leave you with this. If something became clear for you over the past few weeks, this full moon may not be asking you to overthink it. It may simply be asking, can you honor what you know? Because clarity is powerful, but alignment is what changes your life. being authentically aligned. So I'd love to hear from you, have your voice, because I just want to know what became clear for you since this new moon and what feels ready to shift now in the moment, and kind of explore that together if you're still tuned in. And if this resonated, drop or share what's coming up for you in the comments. And of course, if you know someone going through a big realization in this moment, go ahead and share this with them, or not. Maybe you don't want to. We're going to have a cute little short break. And when I come back, we're going to do some cowrie shell divinations. If you're new here, drop your birth year and month, and then I'll move the shells and see what comes up and invoke, of course, the ancestors. So my short, not so short, I should say, commercial break. I'll be right back.
Have you ever felt a whisper from your ancestors? A subtle pull towards a destiny yet unknown? The Dagara believe that our lives are deeply intertwined with the wisdom and legacies of those who came before us. In the sacred Dagara tradition, cowrie shell divination is more than just fortune telling. It's a profound dialogue with the ancestral realm. It's an opportunity to unlock your unique ancestral blueprint, revealing gifts, challenges, and your inherent purpose. As a certified cowrie shell diviner, initiated into this powerful tradition by Elder Malidoma Patrice Somé himself, I offer you a sacred space to connect with this ancient intelligence. Through the symbolic language of the cowries, we can explore ancestral patterns, release inherited burdens, and embrace the powerful support of your lineage. Discover what your ancestors are trying to tell you and how their wisdom can empower your present and future. Are you ready to claim your ancestral inheritance and align with your true calling? Learn more and schedule your cowrie shell divination at tanyad.tv/sessions. Uncover the wisdom that flows within you.
And we are back. So if you're new here, I normally go live at 3 p.m. Mountain Time. Today got a little sideways, so sometimes I go live later. I've thought about going live earlier. But either way, at the end of the show, I always do mini cowrie shell divinations. And as you saw in my cute little commercial there, cowrie shell divination is the art of divination brought to the West by Elder Malidoma Somé. I'm a protege, a student of his, and his cosmology and his medicine. All I need is the year you're born and the month. And then I'll move the shells and see what comes up and give you a short little mini insight. If you're curious, you do have to comment, I should say. I have a few little comment screens open because I'm so proficient at all this technology is what I want to say. So yeah, month and year of birth, and then I'll move the shells on your behalf. We've got the Piper. Oh, and we got the Pookie. My two favorite little friends. Oh my gosh, so one of my clients uses my same fairy deck, and she wanted her hair to look like a fairy. I love that. So yeah, the Piper. It's not a bad thing. So we'll wait and see if anybody wants to have a little mini session. These are singers. They're one of my favorites. This is like the cup of the chalice. This is like opening up your heart to a new feeling and believing in the feeling to be real and drinking from the chalice. All right, August 29th. Have I read for you before? 1984? Are you new here? I like that. Okay, so people born in years ending in 4, you're part of the mineral tribe or clan in the Dagara cosmology. That's all about conversation, communication. It's also your ancestral. It's stuff that's in the bones. Speaking your truth. So that's kind of a part of your gift and purpose, because we all have a purpose, something we're purposed to do, why we came into this world. So yours is more about community conversation. Could be even technology, computers, any type of tool for community and conversation. And August, you're a little Virgo. That's also part of the mineral clan. So that's very balanced energy, just looking at August and the 29th and 84. So that's pretty curious. So I'm going to do an invocation. Call in your spirit team. I'll quit playing with my cards. Okay, let me tune in for a second. All right. I'm going to affirm the spirit, my spirit, for the magical being I am. I'm going to affirm your spirit for the magical being you are and always have been. I'm going to affirm our gatekeepers, our guides, our guardians, all the beings seen and unseen, your ancestors near, far, past, present, and future. Affirm the Great Spirit, the oneness, that I may be a conduit to deliver the message you need to receive today. And with that, I say Ashe, blessings. All right, my friend. Ooh, I need you to use your voice. Ooh, are you going through some kind of, I'm going to say you are going through some kind of a spiritual awakening, but also healing. Does that sound familiar? There's some kind of, yeah, that is what it is. There's a spiritual awakening and a healing that's happening with yourself or others. You're also surrendering to huge change, possibly in the relationship, intimate or otherwise relationship. That's definitely like a bond. There's some kind of a change in a bond. Clarity is going to come on the other side of that. You're surrendering to this change and this transformation. It's almost like an identity shift, which is what this whole year is about. I'm getting that from here, in case you're wondering. And also, it's like, where do I belong? So I do feel like you are literally going through some kind of a spiritual awakening or an awareness, and how you're, where you belong and how you identify is, it's like spirit is devoted to helping you pull this in for you. I would definitely set up some boundaries, some energetic boundaries. Yeah, definitely. Sorry, I had to stop because this is called, these are little spirit beings from the other world, and you've got like a radical friend, that an initiator there helping you. So I'm not concerned about that. I actually quite like that. But when I talk about energetic boundaries, we always need boundaries of all kinds, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, all of them in the world and not of the world. So boundaries definitely create sacred space, protection, boundaries. Know you are safe, you are grounded. Open up your heart to spirit. I'd put my left hand on my heart and literally just say, I would just affirm my spirit, your spirit. Say that out loud or inside voice, doesn't really matter. Affirm your gatekeepers, your guides, and the Great Spirit. That nothing gets in unless your gatekeepers allow them. That's kind of what I do. I would recommend that for you, but you're definitely in a change, big change, but you're going to come out wiser and have, I feel like you're literally going to be having a spirit to spirit conversation with your guides, your guardians, possibly your ancestors. This is all happening because there's some forces of adversity blocking you from having your direct communication, your fishing line into the spirit world, and you've got great medicine there. I just think we need to open that doorway and activate it. This is actually ancient medicine. I want to say ancient communication, like Egyptian kind of stuff, and like having a different perspective, a mountaintop perspective, even a pyramid perspective. It's kind of what's coming in through there. As far as a ritual, I would definitely recommend that you either or both, doesn't really matter, go to an old wise tree, ask that tree, leave an offering, have the tree assist you in getting you on your pathway, but I'd also send you to the water spirits to help you get into the flow, the currency of the flow. And your close ancestors. Yeah, I'd definitely go to the water. If that resonates, let me know if that was helpful. It's on point. See these shells? If you want a private session, I usually pull up your birth chart, the elementals, and give you a personal ritual for the day of birth, which is very unique. That's kind of it's just something I do. It kind of was a download for that to literally break up these forces of adversity. In the Dagara cosmology, you always give a prescription to the person that comes to see you, the querent, which would be you in this case, to address the issues at hand. And you always want to go to the spirit world before we make decisions to get us on our pathway. And just know whatever you touch, positive or not, is going to be activated. This is a little raw, so be mindful of your feelings and tune into spirit. That's what he's saying. And Aries is like this identity shift. And this is the chalice. This is one of the singers. I've had these a few times today. And this is about having, protecting what your heart wants. So most people, you know, it always goes back to our heart and what we feel. And we don't listen to our heart, but we're really great at listening to the hearts of others, right? So make sure you're in alignment, divine alignment with your heart, what it wants. Put your mind on holiday. Tune into your feelings. I hope that was helpful. All right. Does anybody else want me to move the shells on their behalf? These are really fun. I also offer personal private sessions, of course, on my website, tanyad.tv/sessions. And so, yeah, man, spirit is very active today. I just want to say, I keep pulling these singer cards. Whew, that was fun. Okay, Billy, are you still watching? Do you want me to move these shells on your behalf? Or not? It's all good. Sometimes I get a bunch of these, sometimes I don't. Where are you in the world anyway? Where are you on the planet? I started channeling there at the end. That's kind of what happens for me. So yeah, I like that for you. It was really helpful. Thank you for the insight. Oh, I'm so grateful. Oh my gosh, even better. So definitely go to those mountains in the water, girl. Yeah, ritual is medicine. You know that. I love that. But yeah, definitely some moving water. I would probably do an offering of, I feel like milk and honey, but not like goat's milk or something, not like cow milk or store milk. If you can get fresh milk, that's what I'm saying. That was great. I love that. Oh my gosh, you just made my day. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thanks for being here. Like I said, I do go live every Friday, usually 3 p.m. Mountain Time, but today I'm a little delayed, or a little later, which is fine. So yeah, I like that. So, this has been a magical space, all of it today. Be sure to pay attention to the full moon in Libra, and maybe go back a couple weeks because this is like a really clarity moment. I do follow the moon, and I always like to bring in the wisdom of the shells, the divinations, because this kind of explores the deeper patterns, whether we explore them through the elementals and the BaZi, the astrology. I'm an elemental girl myself. I always prescribe rituals. I perform rituals. I was thinking I probably shouldn't call them rituals because that sounds kind of intense, but it's what they are. But clarity is it's coming for a reason. So really take a moment and sit with what came up for you or through you. Not everything needs to be acted on immediately, but I find everything just needs to be acknowledged personally, like what resonated, what felt like confirmation, what are you seeing clearly now. Sometimes the message isn't to like rush forward. It's simply to honor what you already know inside of you. So just allow this energy to settle. It really needs to integrate. Integration is a huge part of ritual, but trust that the next step will reveal itself in the right timing. But before we close today, take a deep breath in Hold. I always like to pause for a count of 3 and then release. And just know the messages that come through are never random. They arrive with intention through the shells or through the elementals, astrology, whatever it is, the moon. So different patterns that I explore, sometimes ancient, something, is usually always revealed, something's remembered, sometimes things are just confirmed or acknowledged. So sometimes we don't have the full picture yet. It's just about awareness, and that's perfectly okay. And wisdom, I just want to say, doesn't always arrive as the answer. Sometimes it arrives as a feeling that we can't ignore. So just sit with what touched or activated your spirit and just notice what stayed with you and honor what kind of shifted quietly, possibly inside. Because that new moon was kind of a quiet energy, and then this is going to be the revealing energy, and we're kind of in between the two. Just know there's always a deeper rhythm unfolding, and you are already in alignment with that. Just trust what's being shown to you and for you, even if it's still forming. So that was kind of a lot. But thank you for bringing your energy, your openness, and your presence into my space tonight. Thank you for being here, for sharing. That's always what we like to do at the end of the show. But until we gather again next week with the full moon, I do have the full moon ritual on my website. I believe it's launched. I believe. Don't hold me to that. And of course, in the coven, the private sessions and whatnot, they're in there as well. But stay connected to your own inner knowing and stay open to the unseen, the guidance around you, the subtle energies, and just walk in spirit and just allow what needs to be revealed to be revealed. So good evening to everybody, and always thank your ancestors, the spirit world. They always give us those clear ideas and insight if we tune into them. And yeah, so thank you again, and I will always see you on the other side, or at least in the spirit space. Blessings.